miracle? What's a miracle, right? Like, how do you even like describe what a miracle is? Well, we're gonna figure that out today.
We're gonna do it, baby.
This is my friend Josh.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
We had a great week together. Josh was in class, and our conversations were awesome, not only in class, but at Roots, which is our restaurant, wherever we kind of met. So I thought he'd be a great guest to have on I Got My Miracle. Thank you for being here.
Of course, man. You're so cool. Everyone here's so dope. Yeah.
It's a cool place, right?
Yeah, and we can get into a second, but I did not think it was going to be a cool place. And I came and my mind was blown,
Tell me what you thought before. What were you like?
I just thought, because I was so in my head and judgmental, that it was going to be a scheme to take money from us, and you come here and there's percentages about people who get their miracles, and it felt so fake and self-help manipulative, but 24 hours after I first got here, my mind was different.
Wow.
My mind was changed. But yeah.
And that continued throughout the week.
Brother, it's changing right now.
Okay.
You guys have a podcast here. This is the coolest place ever now. It's like, but yeah, let me tell you, so I can share quickly an overview of my miracle, we said, right?
Yeah.
Which is that, and even when I came here, the word miracle was so like, to me, because it has this very, to me, it had a very religious connotation.
Sure.
And things that I didn't necessarily think were my bag, But yeah, I know that being here provided me with so much self-love and self-acceptance that I knew I had before, and that there were peaks of throughout my life, and there were moments in which I truly felt it. But this kind of, if the curtains were sometimes pulled back, and some days you can peek through a little bit. Now we ripped the fucking curtains off this. Can I curse on this? I can swear. Sorry.
Yeah, you can totally. You can fucking swear.
Okay, we ripped the fucking curtains off the window shades or whatever, But yeah, I'll just tell you quickly. So I came here working on a project, but I came here very skeptical.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you came skeptical.
And so judgmental. I mean, I said when I first walked into your class,
That's
first day, I thought you were like this peppy, fucking like. I didn't like how peppy you were, and like I thought it was snarky and like fake or something, And dude, when I told this to Dwayne too, when I met Dwayne, another one of the guys here, I was like, this is like a guy who you'd watch on YouTube being like, and this is how you become a man, like, you know what I mean, like, and they were throwing around statistics about happiness and success rates. In my mind, it was like, this place is just draining our money, and we're gonna do a drug, and it's gonna be cool, but like, I'm gonna see like a dragon or something. You know what I mean? And like, but it has nothing with a miracle. It's not a miracle. It's because I'm on ayahuasca.
Right.
It's
a psychoactive chemical electrical reaction in my brain. That's it.
Yeah. And look, maybe I'll find something cool, but like this, not to the degree to which these folks are telling me I'm going to find myself. Which I think is a great. But I want to say at the same time, in my defense, I also had incredible beginner's mind, I think, in that even though I had these reservations, I did enter everything. I entered the first ceremony with curiosity. And I did, every time I had this bad thought, by the way, I do want to say, I did check myself.
You did, right?
I did.
You were just telling me about Eric, and you moved through that.
Yeah.
My class. And
Yes, all that.
So that is something great to acknowledge yourself for.
Thank you. And the medicine helped. I'm feeling better. I feel, at least right now, where I'm very euphoric post, a lot of nights and a lot of cups. I feel like I'm checking myself even less, which is the point, right? I mean, of course, I still have these, even the past 48 hours where I've been feeling incredible, I'm still having these thoughts when I meet people, but I was making it, even when I first met you and I said, this guy, I don't know, but I said, give him a chance. And then, of course, you spoke and you were so cool. I mean, how many times in my life have I judged someone, shook their hand, and then we have so much in common? And I laugh at my judgment before,
me too, Me too. That's totally normal.
But, the goal would be, because judging people, we were just saying, it doesn't feel good to judge somebody, Like maybe it feels like for a moment like, but it doesn't make you feel like happy,
Right.
And so also in not judging someone quite as hard, you're able to be happy, which is really beautiful also, But I'll just quickly walk through my nights. I mean, or do you want to chat? Yeah.
I want to just what you just said is really big.
Cool.
Not judging someone so hard helps me to locate myself in happiness.
Yes.
Yeah. Why is that, right? What is it? Well, to break that down,
please.
my judgment is a projection of a judgment that I have about myself, a lack, a limitation, a
Sure.
fear, a limiting belief, a criticism,
Yeah.
a wound, whatever. And stimulus comes in, I cue, like I react to what's currently happening based on an old pattern,
Yes.
unconscious, and then I project it out as blame, judgment, criticism, separation,
Right.
otherizing. When what you did this week, what we do is anything outside of me that makes me upset or angry or causes a reaction in me is a symbol of something inside of me that's seeking to be healed.
Oh, absolutely.
So when
Yeah.
when I'm able to like realize that my judgment is really my own projection,
Yeah.
and then accept myself,
Yeah.
that's where happiness comes in, right? Like I'm actually, and that's what you said was self-love and self-acceptance on a level that you had not experienced before.
Yeah, and I do think reviewing most of my judgment of people, and again, still to this day, as of 48 hours ago, I keep saying like this pre and post medicine, Josh, but it seemed that the root of the judgment was generally when I see someone who has what appears to be self-confidence, I immediately want to tear them down in my mind to say, well, they shouldn't be confident because they're overweight, because they're not handsome, because they look like an idiot, And of course, dude, like, why else would I care about their self-confidence if I struggled with my own,
Right.
And now, you do the medicine and you really look at yourself in challenging ways. And you kind of learn to love yourself more or admire yourself more or accept yourself more. And of course, if you accept yourself more and you have more, that it translates to a little more self-confidence just because you don't hate yourself as much. And if you don't hate yourself as much, why would I look at somebody else who has self-confidence and hate them?
And I don't think people are walking around hating themselves.
No,
I
me neither.
think
And I wasn't. Everyone would say I'm a confident person.
Okay, so there are two things I want to say. One is it's microaggressions,
Yes.
right? It's
Yeah.
those little. It's not like I'm walking around going hating myself. It's
Absolutely.
just like,
Yeah.
oh, why did I say that? Oh, or you that comment that you make in your head about yourself when you look yourself in the mirror, or
Yeah.
comparison to someone.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say is, you said I can see my judgments, and I'm still having them.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you that your judgments are not wrong.
Sure.
They're not bad.
Yeah.
And that they were actually a strategic adaptation that you made to protect yourself, because, and you just said, because my lack of self-confidence.
Sure.
What is lack of self-confidence? Lack of self-worth, self-value.
Yeah, self-worth is
right.
Yeah.
So my sense of lack of self-worth created this adaptation, but it's also there. It's feedback.
Yes.
I look at it like my dog barking, right? Like I don't want my dog never to bark, right? I prefer that he doesn't bark all the time, and not at the neighbor when they're coming in with the trash.
Sure.
I'd rather him just bark at intruders.
Yeah.
But my dog's going to bark, so I don't want my dog never to bark. I have to be the one to get up and go, hey, it's just a neighbor. Come on, that's all right.
Yes, absolutely.
But bark.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same with your judgment.
Sure.
That's your barking dog.
Yeah.
But now with this clear center that you have.
Yeah.
You're in your seat of your soul. Judgment comes in and you go, oh, there's that judgment.
Sure.
But there's time when somebody comes in and you might be like, you know what?
Sketchy.
Totally.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I don't want to hang
the other
around.
way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
there's good. I agree.
And it's not that we don't want that to stop. We just want to be aware.
Yeah. You want to be able to check it very quickly, reevaluate, and it's like, am I giving this person a fair evaluation? One other thing that ties into this that I think Melissa called it a clunker. I don't quite remember, but somebody in ceremony who annoys the fuck out of me.
Clacker.
The clacker, excuse me. And someone who I've become buddies with, who was next to me, he fell asleep immediately after the first cup, like one of the nights, and immediately started snoring. And I was really trying to meditate and sit with some shit, and I was getting so pissed off at him. Because, immediately after the first cup each night, it's very quiet. Because people are anticipating the first purge and whatever.
The music hasn't started.
The music hasn't started. It's very, it's almost tense, a little bit, whatever. And I was so pissed. And then, of course, you take a second and you're like, why am I pissed? Okay, I know why. And this was helping with what I had done the night before the work. But it's because I'm trying to control the silence right now. I need silence to figure out my thing. It's control. Just Josh, you don't need to control everything. And dude, by the end of the night, his snores were putting me to sleep. they became my lullabies. You know.
I think it's control.
Yeah.
But I think it's judgment.
Yes, I probably too.
Right.
Yeah.
I noticed this. I live pretty remote. There's a lot of land around me. Someone a couple years ago bought a piece of land
Mhm.
next to me and started building.
Okay.
And they
Oh,
started
yeah.
construction at 6 a.m.
Oh,
And so if I didn't get up to do my meditation at 5:30,
yeah.
I was meditating construction.
Mhm.
And I would notice, right, like how angry I'd get
Yeah.
at this noise, right? It was construction.
Of course, yeah.
And at this time, I saw an interview with Ram Dass, and he was talking. I won't tell the whole story.
Sure,
Although it's
sure.
a really good story. And he told this story about. Okay, we'll tell the story. It's a really good
Please,
story.
yeah. Why don't you-
He goes. It's towards the end of his life. He's out to dinner with some friends, and he's telling his friends that he's really seeing the oneness behind everything.
Mhm.
Like behind everything, he can see God in everything. He's telling his friends at dinner, and they're at this restaurant. He goes, I love that tree out there. I love it because I can see the essence of God. I can see the essence of God in you. I can see the essence of God in this couch. I can see the essence of God in this. I love this carpet.
Right.
And his friend was like, okay, wait a minute. I can totally see that you love the tree. I can
Mhm.
see that you love us. But this is like industrial carpet. It has stains. It's like worn.
Yeah.
I don't think you love the carpet.
Yeah.
It's like, and Ram Dass's response was judgment, judgment, judgment.
Yeah.
So then he says, later that year for his 80th birthday, his friend got a piece of that carpet from the restaurant
Uh-huh.
and framed it
Oh.
with the stain and the wearing
Sure.
and sent it to Ram Dass and said, if you love this carpet so much, why don't you replace the picture of your guru with that carpet?
Whoa.
And Ram Dass's response was, he didn't think I could do it. But so I heard that.
Yeah.
And now
that's so
I'm
funny.
meditating in the construction zone and I'm realizing judgment, judgment, judgment. Oh,
Yeah.
when the bird sings,
Yeah.
oh, that's perfect for my meditation.
Yes. Exactly.
The wind blows, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
But the jackhammer, not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The green tree is beautiful, but the dying vine, not.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Right? And so seeing how my judgment, this is another Ram Dass saying, if you want to know the truth, give up your opinion. Give up your judgment.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Judgment's going to, cloud my perception.
Mhm.
And so in the same way, his snoring, right? Like as we start to see, like, that's another thing about meditation is people think like, oh, it's supposed to be quiet.
Yeah.
No, actually meditation is you being able to like
Yeah.
place your mind
Focus
where
on
you
them.
want to, no matter what.
Of course. Yeah.
So I started to look at the jackhammer as a gift.
Yeah.
That's
so cool.
I did try and get up early, but if
Of course,
I didn't,
of course. Yeah. Look,
there I was meditating in a construction zone.
would I prefer not hearing the sound of a million purges as I work through my shit? Yeah. But they added some flavor to it,
And by the end of the week, though, what happened to me was at first I was like, oh my God, that's really disturbing. And I noticed by the end, my first week, by the end of the week, it was like, oh my God, there's healing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
it's beautiful.
I also my sense of humor really was a real great, not a shield, but was a real ally during all of my experiences. Of course, I interrogated quite a lot how I use humor to. We good?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the comment.
Oh, people are
Wait.
watching this.
Yeah, people
So
are
who's
watching.
This handsome man. sitting next to you?
Hey.
Yeah. Hello. But humor. Of course, I had to think quite a lot about like how in my past I've used humor as a crutch to some degree or hidden. But like we've said, you analyze these things and you say, okay, there are aspects of it that I don't love, or I don't love how I've used, but then there are aspects of it that I love. So I also love my sense of humor about myself, right? And I've become known in the groups we did as like the laugher. So involuntary, like I'll have a thought and just like the loud, like ha, like loudest. And so here's the funny thing: my neighbor, the second night, when I was laughing like crazy when the shaman told me to go outside because I was laughing so much, he told me the next day, he was like, dude, I wanted to fucking kill you when you were laughing, but at the end of the night, I wanted to kill you less. And the next day,
to kill you
literally
less.
the next day, by coincidence, I swear, we were next to each other again. And it was like, oh my God, okay. So my first laugh, I was like, ha! I just hear him go like, fuck! And dude, by the end of the ceremonies, when I was laughing, he was a couple ones that he would start laughing too, and we would just be like laughing together. And it was just this like beautiful thing where it's like, he like was thinking about like, why does his laughter annoy me? Because this idea that he had, you can't be I'm suffering right now. How are you? Are not. And by the way, my laughter didn't mean I wasn't suffering.
Right.
But he interpreted it that way.
Right.
And then he thought, and he was like, you know what? Even if he is having a great time laughing, It's fucking awesome, Josh.
Well,
Like,
this is the other beautiful thing, what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Anything outside of me
yeah,
that causes me annoyance or
Yeah,
suffering
yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
causes a reaction in me is a symbol of something inside of me that's seeking to be healed.
right.
So his judgment is like, how can you be laughing when I'm suffering?
Yes.
Which is absolute victimhood.
Yeah.
Everything like people aren't realizing that I. So
Yeah.
it's pointing to a core wound, I would assume,
Yes.
of not feeling loved, not feeling
Sure.
that belonging.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, feeling left behind, feeling left out,
Yeah.
not being cared for.
Yeah.
Like that was his core wound, and so the perfection of life,
Mhm.
the perfection of the medicine, is that life is always providing this feedback
Mhm.
that's reflecting back to us
Yeah.
the part of us that needs love.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. And well, yeah. On top of jumping off that life is always, and the medicine, life is always giving us what we need in that moment to some degree. And everyone talked about this too. Is just like during the ceremony, especially the last night, which is the Yahe, the very strong Colombian purge. I mean, dude, that was like Purge City that night. That was fucking insane. But the amount of that we were all on the same wavelength and interpreting, using the sounds of others and the actions of others to fold within our own healing. You know, so in the third night, for instance, when it was Divine Feminine, and I was really considering my past relationships with women, you know, in whatever sense, with my mother, with a girlfriend, with a friend who's a girl, you know, whatever. And I would hear that night, to me, so many of the women across the room were sobbing, you know, and I was of course, I was sending them love, but I was also interpreting those cries as cries of people I've hurt, whatever, whatever. But then, after I felt bad about that, and oh, I've made women cry, whatever. Then you take a step back and you're like, okay, but also like, they could be crying about anything, not just me. So like, they're not victims necessarily. Like, it's not like I leave a girl who I think I hurt and she's like, oh, Josh is my life. It's like, no, they might have been like, fuck that guy. I'm gonna fucking watch Sopranos or something.
But no
Yeah.
matter what,
Yeah.
no matter what, like, yes, maybe you acted in a way that was
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's still a feedback loop, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and at the very least, I have to know that there is a perfection,
Yes.
an order that exists. It already exists,
Mhm.
and you were providing something.
Yeah.
She was providing something,
Of course.
and you both grew out of that,
Yeah.
right? Like and we've all had the experience of experiencing something that we wish we didn't have to experience. But on the other side of it, it changed us, and now we can actually be grateful for that experience.
Yeah, it's
because
called rythmia.
we wouldn't be here,
Yeah.
right? But that's like all sorts of like
Yeah,
a relationship,
Yeah.
a job,
Yeah.
whatever situation that you're
Yeah.
like, or an illness.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
on the other
absolutely.
side of that, I'm a different person.
Yeah.
So that's the like where we get to know that there is order, and we're participating in the great plan. Everything serves the great plan of love.
Absolutely. Yeah. No.
I want to ask you though,
Please. Sorry. Yeah.
like, so this overarching miracle of self-love and self-acceptance.
Mhm.
What would you say, like what's the difference between Josh Saturday a week ago and Josh today?
I don't think that my answers are going to be necessarily very unique, but that's a good thing. I think there's a stillness that I didn't have then. There's a gratitude for there's a general, like, I mean, dude, there are several with my job and some shit going on right now with work and whatever stuff. There's a lot that I was like freaking out over, you know, things I did that I could have done differently, things that are coming up and now I'm just much more attuned to, I'm at Rhythmia, and I will face those things next week, but also I'll face those things and they're really, whatever happens, happens. And I'll know that I'm going to act in the best way that I can. And if the person accepts that, incredible. And if they don't accept that, that's okay too. That's their journey. But I'm going to stay who I am, you know?
Wow. So that's like a peace and a self-centeredness, being centered in oneself.
Something the shaman said, Leo said yesterday, was that I loved, and I knew this, but he said the past could never be anything but the past. You know, the past could never be anything but what it was, rather, you know, as if it was preordained or something, you know? And this idea that, like, you don't need to torture yourself over shit, you know? You think about it, you focus it, and then you just go back to the moment. When I think it's probably fine, but we're fine, great.
Okay.
Yeah, just got a screensaver.
All
But
right.
so that's something huge for me, you know. And it's just like general, you know, I used to feel guilt over being stoked about what's going on in my life.
Right.
This sense of like, if I get too cocky or too happy, it's gonna all get torn away from me. But now I don't really feel that way. I feel like I can have gratitude for it and excitement for what's to come. And there will be challenging things, but why even worry about that now? Because the future is absolutely uncertain. You know?
Reverend Michael says, worrying about the future is like paying interest on money you haven't borrowed.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Just being totally fucking
Right?
no,
But
absolutely.
this thing that you just pointed to, like this sense of peace around the future,
Yeah.
a sense of, like you were just talking about, like
Mistakes in the past.
right, exactly,
Right.
like just being at peace and being centered,
Mm-hmm.
and this sort of like, hold on,
That's okay.
it's the like confidence that life is
Yeah.
actually for me,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
And I don't have to try so hard.
Everything will work out. Maybe certain things will be, you know, it'll work out how it's supposed to work out. I think there's a great thing that I've been saying for years, but that applies so well, which is, you know, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. That's it.
And it is what it is until it ain't.
Until it ain't, yeah. And it ain't what it is until it is. That's also, you know, it's like, so, you know, man, it's just riding the wave of life, and like, I just feel so calm and like, just happy and like thankful for the people in my life. And,
So,
yeah.
Anything else that you want to say to wrap up? Anything you
Yes. So there was one thing quickly. I'm not going to go into the but the second night I had a very interesting. This was the one moment where I was confronted with something that, you know, I did come in here with an idea of what I would be facing, and a lot of that was true, I think. But the second night there was one huge thing that I didn't even fucking think I'd be confronted with, and it happened, and I'm so thankful for that too, for what that was, because that was like living inside me for so long. This thing that had happened to me. This makes it sound terrible. It wasn't that bad, but like this thing that had happened to me that I had done, that I never even knew I thought about.
Mm.
And when it was presented to me by the medicine that I do think about this thing, everything else slid into place, you know, and it really was like so peaceful and
So
like
something you weren't even aware that you were carrying
I
came
was,
to light.
dude, I was carrying. I mean, you should
Okay.
see what came out of me. Like
Wow.
deep clay from fucking every pore of my body, like the blackest tar. It was fucking wild, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brother,
So-
thank you so much for
Thank you, man. You're the best. I loved our classes. Yeah. Come back to Rythmia, please, people.
Come
Yeah.
to Rythmia.
Come.
Come see us.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us. I'll see you next week.